Today we're going to be learning about percents. In the word percent, we have two different parts. We have per, which means for every, and cents, which means 100. Some examples of percents would be 6 over 100 is the same as 6 out of 100, which is the same as 6%. We might also see percents written as decimals. If you see 0.46, that's the same as 46 hundredths, which is 46 over 100. That means that is 46% because it is 46 out of 100. Now that we know what a percent is, let's talk about how to find the percent of a number. The word of tells us that we're going to multiply. If I want to find 34% of 8, I'm going to have to do two different steps. The first step is to change the percent to a decimal. We do that by moving the decimal 2 places to the left. Now, it's important to remember if we do not see a decimal, it means it's behind the number in the ones place. That makes 34% the same thing as 0.34 or 34 hundredths. The second step is going to be multiply the decimal that you just made by the whole number. So we'll have 34 hundredths times 8. When I multiply out 34 hundredths times 8, I find that it equals 2.75 or 72. That means that 34% of 8 is 2.72. Now let's try some practice problems. Please write down the 4 problems you see on the screen and pause this video until you're ready to go over the answers. If you get stuck, feel free to go on and listen to the answers, but I would like you to try them on your own before you go on. For question number 1, we need to change 16% to a decimal. That means it's going to be 0.16. We then need to multiply 0.16 times 80. When we get that, we find that 16% of 80 equals 12.8. For question number 2, it's a little bit tricky. When we see 5% and we need to change that to a decimal, we still have to move the decimal 2 places to the left. That means 5% is the same as 0.05. If you got that correct, give yourself a pat on the back. Then we need to multiply 0.05 times 15. When we do this, we find that the number is going to be less than 1. We find that 5% of 15 is the same as 0.75. For question number 3, we have a decimal within our percent. So when we change 7.5%, it's going to become 0.075. Now we need to multiply. 0.075 times 3 equals, again, a number less than 1. This time the answer is 0.255. And finally, for question number 4, 20% of 9. Change 20% to a decimal. You can write that as 0.20, or you can just write it as 0.2. Then you need to multiply. 0.2 times 9 is 1.8. Hope you guys learned how to find the percent of a number.